Hi, my name is Brad, and this is a tutorial on how to make the Hunger Games flaming logo. This is a two-part tutorial. The first part is dealing with how to take a standard raster image and convert it to a vector graphic, so we can extrude it as a 3D object. If you don't know what a raster image is, don't worry. Most of your images, like JPGs or PNGs, are raster images. That just means they use pixels to make up an image, whereas a vector graphic is made up of curves. The advantages are you can scale the image without losing resolution. You would need Inkscape for this, but don't worry, it's free. There will be a link in the description. You can also download for free the .blend files and the textures used in this tutorial. A link will be provided for that as well. The second part of the tutorial deals with the flames, how to control the smoke particles to do the effect you see here. You wouldn't believe how many requests I get for this effect when I freelance. I usually charge about $200 a pop for this effect. It's really not that hard once you know the secret. Now, unfortunately, the second part of the tutorial is not free, but don't fret because I'm only charging $3 for it, so it's not bad either. The first part is free, however, so if you want to learn a neat trick, I suggest you watch on. To get the second half, you must go to my website at dragonfire360.com and select paid tutorials. There will be a link in the description. And now, on with the tutorial. Okay, first we're going to open up Inkscape, and then we're going to go to File and open up a raster image, in this case UV Diffuse, and we'll go ahead and embed that, click OK, and we'll select the image, and now we'll go up to Path, and then go down to Trace Bitmap. And this will convert it from a raster image to a vector image, which is what we want. And we're going to adjust the brightness cutoff threshold to a 0.990. This will turn it to a completely black vector image. And we use that. Go ahead and click Update, OK, and close that out. And now we're going to save this vector image as Hunger Games, which I've already saved it once before, but I'll go ahead and save it again. And I'll just click Replace and go ahead and close. That's it for Inkscape, so we'll go ahead and close this out and move on with the rest of our tutorial. Just going to open up Blender, and then we will delete the default cube. And now go up to File and User Preferences, and under Add-ons we want to just type in Scale in the search box, and make sure that to check Import Export Scalable Vector Graphics. We'll make sure that's enabled, which in my case it is, so we can import our vector graphic that we saved. Go ahead and close that out and go down to File and Import and Scalable Vector Graphics. And we want to open up our Hunger Games vector graphic, select it, and scale it down by hitting S, of course. And then we're going to change the origin point to the center of it. So go to Object, Transforms, and Origin to Geometry, and that will center that up. And now, let's turn on screencast key so I don't have to keep telling you the keys I'm hitting. Just bring up the end panel there. And okay, now I'll center the camera up. Numpad 1, Control-Alt-0. Okay, now we want to rotate this by hitting R and 90 on the numpad to rotate it 90 degrees. Scale it up some, and then once we get it scaled and in position, we want to convert it to from a curve object to a mesh by hitting Alt and C, and that will convert it. Now tab into edit mode, and we'll extrude this out some. That looks pretty good right there. And it's black, so we want to change it to a color where we can see better, so let's make it more workable. So somewhere in there, that ought to do it. And now at least we can we'll be able to see it in the viewport better now. Let's see what's the next thing we want to do. Add a texture, an image or movie. Actually, we need to unwrap it first. So let's go up here and UV editing. Hit 1 to put it in front view so we can, and then tab into edit mode, select it all the vertices, and then go to U to unwrap and project from view bounds. And now we can go back to our default view. And once we go back to the default viewport, we can add a material and add textures to it. So yeah, the material. Now for now we're going to add mirror to it, but not right at this moment. Let's go ahead and add a texture. We've already selected image or movie, so go ahead and open up the diffuse color image that I will supply for you. And we'll select pre-multiply to because if there's any alpha channel in it, select a UV for the mapping and the default map that we unwrapped it to, and influence will be color, of course. And now let's go ahead and set our bump map, make another texture, and this will be our another image or movie, and this time we'll select the UV bump, I believe I called it, or HG bump, and this will only influence the normals. So once again, we want to set our not the sampling. Let's see. Turn off color because we don't want to influence color, and select the normals. A 1 is fine. You can leave it at a value of 1, and let's change the mapping to UV. And flat is fine, and use our default map, even though it'll go do that anyway. It's good to name these things, but I'm not naming them right now. Okay, test render. And no, we don't have a light. We need to set up a light. Let's go to the world's tab setting, and under environment lighting, select that, check mark that, and make it a 0.5. And then we'll render it again, and we should be able to see it now. Of course, now that we see it, we only see the diffuse color. We don't see any bump mapping, any of the normals affected, because we need a specular light. And there's no specular lighting in environment light. So we need to set up a lamp for that, or reflections. In this case, we'll just set up the lamp, if nothing else, just temporarily, just to so we can see the bump mapping. So I've already got, let's see, yeah, tab out of edit mode there, and select that lamp. I've already got my scene. It's a point lamp in this case, and you can change the color to a yellow color if you want, but just position it in front of the logo there. I'm going to leave it white, and this should render out some bump mapping now. We'll be able to see the specularity. Let's add a bounding box too. Let's go ahead and add, or not bounding box, I mean a cube. And this will just be a reflection background. So we'll size it up and make sure you get the camera inside the box. And after we size it up, we'll go ahead and tab into edit mode, and we'll delete one of the faces so that way it's not completely enclosed. Yeah, make sure you got faces selected, and select that face there, and hit X and delete just the face. And now we can add a material to this box so that it has something to reflect. And in this case, we're going to go shadeless and go to textures and add a image or movie. And this is going to be an abstract image. Once again, I provide the image for you. So go ahead and open up that abstract one right there. Yep. And let's see, mapping can be set to cube, generated in cube, and influences color, of course. And now set a subsurf modifier, level 3, because we're going to round it out a bit. And smooth shading. Select smooth shading on your T panel if you don't, for your tools panel. And now all we have to do is readjust the size of this a little bit. So grab that one face there and move it in. And of course the camera's outside of it now, so we'll have to size it, the entire thing up a bit to make sure that the camera's back inside, because otherwise you'll see the back of it when we render. We don't want that. And like I say, the cube itself is not going to render, although you can't really call it a cube anymore. It's kind of round. This is going to be used for reflections, which we're going to set up right now on the Hunger Games logo. Selecting the Hunger Games logo, go down to Mirror, and set the reflectivity at a 0.6. And then we're going to change the color to a yellow color, because it's going to be a golden color, so we want it to reflect some yellow. And now so render this out, and we should be able to see those the bump mapping in there, and it is reflecting fine. And in this case, whenever because the Hunger Games logo is reflecting whatever is that abstract image that is on that cube, if you get some odd looking colors, just move the cube around and resize the cube a bit, make it bigger, and then the logo will reflect differently. So if you get colors that you don't want, just size up the cube, and that ought to fix that. Okay, we can see it's rendering pretty good there. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now let's go ahead and let's change the names of some of these things, make them more meaningful. So starting with the cube, let's change that, since it's going to be a reflection. We're going to change the name of it to Reflection Backdrop. And then we will turn the visibility off, at least in the viewport. We don't want to turn the renderability off, but just and then select the curve, and we will change the name of this to the HD logo, since it is the Hunger Games logo. And now when we get more objects in the scene, it won't be so confusing, because we have meaningful names for these things. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and rotate it on the Z-axis a bit, and rotate it on the X-axis as well. So RZ and RX to rotate these. And then let's go ahead and render it. Yeah. See how this looks. And I'll take this time to let you know that everything up to this point is going to be free. You can see it on my website, dragonfire360.com, under the free tutorials tab. and you can also see it on YouTube. But as for the rest of this tutorial, how I do the flames and everything, I will have to charge for that. I'm sorry, but I use this technique a lot. I get a lot of requests from people, and I get paid to do it. So if I'm going to share something that I make money off of with you, I want to continue to make money off of it. But it's not going to be much. I'm only charging $3, and I figure most of my customers do not know anything about 3D graphics or animation or any of this 3D programming. So I'm not really too afraid that they're going to try to do it on their own, that I'm going to lose business that way. But if I'm sharing it with you as well, then I'm creating competition for myself. So if I'm going to show you how to do this, I want to make a little something off of it. But like I say, I'm not going to be extreme with it. So I'm only charging $3. And if you want to see the rest of how I control the particles, that's what you'll be learning in the next tutorial, which you can also see on my website and in the link in the description below. If you're watching it on YouTube, you will see a link to purchase the rest of the tutorial series. And then I will let you know this much, that I use keyed particles, and I've also used harmonics to control the particles. That works well with fire as well. But if you want to see how I do it, the techniques I use, then go ahead and purchase the the $3 tutorial, and you can see the rest of it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and skip forward and show you the finished result. Okay, that looked pretty good. Now we will change the background color a bit. Change it to black. And then we'll go ahead and save this. And you will be able to get the .blend file at my website. Even for this free tutorial, I will supply everything up to this point, so you'll be able to get the textures and the .blend file. And hopefully you've learned how to import scalable vector graphics and how to use that to your advantage. And if you want to learn the fire part of the tutorial and how I control the particles, go ahead and purchase that tutorial. And you will also get the .blend files with that as well. So thank you very much for watching.